Hello, bienvenue. So it is now the day before the grand finals of the Eurovision 2019 finals. I both times I ended up not watching the whole thing live. I came in midway point. The first time I wasn't sure about the streaming, and I ended up finding a stream like after all the shows had after all the performances had gone. They were recapping. It was right when Dana International came and sang she sang a cover. I forget the song she sang a cover of, but she came and she sang right before when they were recapping, going over who everyone just performed. That's when I came in for the first semifinal. Second semifinal, I had the tab open, and I had it open for like 2 hours in advance, and then I saw like 20 minutes into like 20 minutes after 3 that it had already started, so I ran over. And I came in maybe not 20 minutes or so, but I came in around when Rocco had just was finishing his performance, or yeah, it was in the middle of his performance. So I watched the majority of semifinal two, but for both semifinals, I was there when the what do you call it? When the semifinal finalists were being announced. I was there for like the last 30 plus minutes of corniness. I was there for the video project that's really nice with the Eurovision over the years, and they had both days. Um, I was there for that awkward joke about the acapella choir after the final two. So I was there when they were announcing, and I was going off my list of who I had predicted, and who was being called. So semifinal one. Well, we'll get into that. Anyway, let's get to it. I'm back again with another, another PowerPoint because why not? I have the time. So, and if you're wondering why this isn't entirely full screen, it's because I want to look at my notes this time, so we can get fast for everybody. So, what we're going to do here, I'm going to go over my thoughts and the results of both semifinals and talk about how they resulted versus what I had called for each semifinal. We're going to look at the outlook for the upcoming final, what my prediction might be or may not be, if I have a prediction anyway, and then what else there is in store in the future past Eurovision 2019, because it's ending tomorrow, the 18th. So this is a semifinal a one, and semifinal one. I'll link the respective video in the description for this video. But for semifinal one, I had two sets of predictions. When I watched all the videos for Eurovision, I was watching each video, subjectively ranking each song. So I had a finalized list after all 41 songs were released. So when came time to look at who do I think is moving on in the semifinals, I had, based off of my initial reactions, who would be moving on and who I expected to win. So these right here are based off my initial reaction, my predicted based off my initial reaction. So I had Poland, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Serbia, Belgium, Georgia, Australia, Portugal, San Marino. Now, I am a practical person, and I know what people tend to like, generally speaking. So I had different expected winners, expected finalists from the semifinals. So I kept Slovenia, Czech Republic, Serbia, Australia, Portugal, and San Marino. Those seemed like sure bets, because San Marino generally is a sure bet for me, anyway. But Hungary, Poland, Belgium, Georgia were out in turn for Cyprus, Iceland, Belarus, and Greece. Iceland has the big factor of it's the most different song of all 41 songs. With the BDSM vibes, the yelling, it's different. Cyprus sounds just like Fuego. Belarus, I think at the time I wasn't sure about Belarus, but at the time it had like millions of views, like I want to say maybe 3 million views or something like that. Greece, it just had the right poppy ballad to it, right? So finally, semifinal one is going off, and they're calling it off, and they're calling off everybody except for Portugal. That really had me stumped, because I was like, if anything was going to shock me, I had three Between my two predicted results, I had three countries that I didn't have going through. I didn't have Montenegro, I didn't have Finland, and I didn't have Estonia going through. Now, Finland, listening to the song, it has grown on me. When I listen to the song on Spotify, it grows on me. So, if anything, for me, out of those three songs, Finland is probably the best song. But I see why Estonia is like it's not a bad song. It's just, you said no to Portugal for Estonia. So that was wild. That was wild, right? And I'm like, I don't understand. I thought Portugal was a sure bet because we had the upbeat tempo. Granted, the staging wasn't much different. I feel like for a lot of them, the staging wasn't much different, but essentially it was like same staging, same performance, new outfit. So, but you said no to Portugal for Estonia. Regardless, I'm super happy because, like I said in that other video, why was I calling predictions anyway? Because I know I was going to be mostly right. And as is the case, I called 9 out of 10 of the finalists in my 9 out of 10 the finalists in my expected winners. I called it. I know what I'm talking about for some reason. Semifinal 1, next 2 days, I was super hyped. I'm like, you can't tell me anything. You can't tell me nothing. I call this 9 out of 10. Great. Great for me. Predictable. Great for me. Fine. 9 out of 10 is great. So we go to semifinal 2, and I had called for semifinal 2. And semifinal 2, I had said previously that I thought semifinal 2 was the hardest semifinal, and then based off my initial rankings, it turned out to be like the lower ranked final. On average, I had the lower ranked. The average of all the songs in semifinal 2 was lower in terms of ranking than the average in semifinal 1. So semifinal 1 had more songs that I liked according to my initial rankings. But for some reason I was like, semifinal 2 is going to be ridiculous, which I think tended to be the case because I had a lot of time going between predicted and expected. So I had to call initially for predicted. I had called Armenia, Latvia, Romania, Sweden, Austria, Croatia, Albania, Norway, Netherlands, and Macedonia. I kept Armenia. Latvia and Romania were some that I was like not sure about. I think I was more sure about Latvia than I was Romania. Sweden, I kept. Denmark, if you watch any of my other videos, you know I did not have Denmark high on my initial rankings. But I knew Denmark was going to go anyway because it's an insipid, cutesy, song about peace that's really about nothing. And it has that vibe about, like, oh, this is a nice song you just put on in the back and it's nice. I knew it was going to advance anyway. Fine. Croatia, I wasn't sure about because it's a ballad. People had mixed reactions to the song. So I wasn't sure about Croatia. Malta was upbeat. So I was like, okay, Malta. Russia, why did I put Russia? I don't recall at the moment. Norway, Netherlands, and Macedonia, I kept because they're all solid. Well, they're all solid songs. And yes, based off my initial reaction rankings, Netherlands was going in anyway. But a lot of people really like the Netherlands. And I don't get the super love for that song. But apparently a lot of people like it, so I kept it in. Fine. So then, they're calling semifinal 2. And in the middle of semifinal 2, my whole thing with the semifinals and the 2 sets is like, okay, I want to see which set has more correct. If all my predicted for semifinal 2 had been more right, or if all of my... I said in my last video, one or the other is going to have more right. It's not going to be a giant mix between the two of them. I feel like one or the other is going to have more right. And the same thing happened in the semifinal 1. My expected was the one that had more correct finalists advancing. So I assumed, based on my success with semifinal 1, that semifinal 2 might be the same case, and it was the same case. But, so let's go over which ones I got correctly from my expected. I got Sweden, Denmark, Malta, Russia, Norway, Netherlands, and Macedonia. Alright, I called those. So a solid 7. Wait, what? Yes, a solid 7. Oh, anyway, okay, this is wrong. A solid 7 out of 10, right? But, well, 7 out of 10. So then, However, Albania advanced, and I had Albania in my predicted. So depending on how you want to call it, I either got 7 correct or I got 8 correct. But let's go with 7 because we're going mainly with expected versus actual finalists. But I did call for Albania in my predicted, right? So really, the two that, like I said, I wasn't so sure about, Latvia and Romania, were the ones that were, okay, they didn't advance, fine. But during Azerbaijan's performance, I was tweeting. Of course, it's not in regards to this, or I had called months ago. But I was tweeting and I was like, I messed up. I should have had Azerbaijan in my expected finalist, right? Because first listen to the song, it's a nice song, but it's not like super crazy for me. But as you listen to it, as the months, as we had time to listen to it, it sounded better and better. So I should have had Azerbaijan. Fine. Absolutely fine. Where in the world does this come from? Where in the world, right? Okay, because it came down to like the last one, and it's like, okay, so it's either going to be, for me, at that point, Malta, Latvia, Romania, and Armenia had not been called. So I thought Armenia was a sure bet. Like, why wouldn't Armenia be? It's upbeat. It's a good danceable song. Like, why wouldn't it have gone? Why wasn't it a sure bet? So I'm like, okay, Armenia versus Malta. And they kept showing the girl, Michaela's face, I think her name is. Michaela. They kept showing her face and like the countdown in the stream I was watching. I'm like, I really was so confused as to when they called Switzerland. I was really just very confused because why? It's not it's not the best song, and there were other songs in the final too that were probably better. Like, why? So for me, that was the biggest shock of semifinal 2. But what can I say? So this is incorrect, as I noted. This should read 7 out of 10, or 8 out of 10. That's what it should read, not 6 out of 10. It should read 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10, depending on how you want to look at it, right? So looking at the full 20 finalists from both semifinals. Again, I called either, depending on how you want to look at it. Hold on, I feel like I'm getting my math wrong. No, yes. I called a total of either, depending on how you look at it, either I called 16 out of 20 or I called 17 out of 20. So we're going with 16 out of 20, generally speaking, because we're going off of, how I correctly predicted off of my expected. Like, if I had said, oh, I'm going with my expected, I would have gotten 16 out of 20. So about 80% I called right. 4 I didn't get right. But who were the biggest surprises here? I think Switzerland and then Estonia. Those are the only 2 huge surprises for me personally. Azerbaijan, I saw it coming when I was watching the second semifinal. Albania, I had called in my predicted, so it wasn't really a big shock at all. But Switzerland, wild. Estonia, I can see it. Okay, whatever, fine. I don't agree with it, but whatever. I don't see it, but I get it. I get why it went through. Fine. So the finals are coming up. Right here I have listed in purple the first half. Top to bottom is the order from 1 to 13. And the second half, from top to bottom, is 14 to 26, right? So now that we have the finals, who do I think is going to win? I don't really have a clear-cut winner, which is all the fun of watching Eurovision as a spectator, is seeing how the voting ends up, seeing how the European public and whoever else votes vote for music. It's a fun spectator sport in that way. So I don't really have a super clear-cut winner. I'll tell you now that I have some big shockers I'd be really upset about if they won, because there's just way too many songs better than them. I think if the United Kingdom won, I'd be upset because there's so many songs better than them this year. I think I guess I could kind of half see, but I feel like it's not that good of a song. If Switzerland won, like why would Switzerland win? If Denmark won, what are you doing, right? Um, there's some other ones I just don't expect to win, and those will be reflected in following slides. But the idea is, how do you know? Let me try my best, even though I don't have a clear cut winner, and even though I have no idea how y'all are gonna vote. Let me try and come up with a winner, right? So, not doing the 12 points, 10 points, whatever type of thing. Not trying to figure out which country will do whatever. I just figured let's do a completely, um, let's try and find a winner in a way that doesn't really apply to Eurovision, because let's do a tableau form. And why a tableau form works is because at the end of the day, whatever song you have win in a tableau form has to be able to beat every other song. And every other song and pairing or whatever, right? So, because of the way of the semifinal, and because you have the top first half, you have the second half, the thing with that is the first song to start, right, has 25 other songs to compete with. So you have to be super memorable. You have to be able to compete. If the first song were to win, it would have to be able to compete with the last song. The last song that has all 25 songs before it, going ahead. It has to be able to compete with the last song. So for that reason, for my tableau, the first step was to reverse the order, right? So instead of Malta, comparing to Israel, we have Malta comparing to Spain. So Malta, the first song comparing to the last song, Spain. Albania, the second song comparing to the penultimate song, Spain, and so on and so forth. So what we did from here is we went and we said, who of these matchups between Malta and Spain, between Albania and Australia, between Czech Republic and Switzerland, between Germany and Serbia, Russia, Italy, Denmark, France, San Marino, Azerbaijan, Macedonia, Belarus, Sweden, Estonia, Slovenia, Iceland, Cyprus, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Norway, and Greece and Israel, who do I expect to win? Who do I expect to win? And I prefer the song personally. Who do I expect to win? And maybe I really have a preference. It's just expectations, right? Who are the people? Oh, my bad. Who are the people I expected? So, between Malta and Spain, Malta was the last one called, right? But I'm thinking Malta is also the first song. Spain is going to have all these songs. Spain is going to bring this high energy performance. You already know it has to. It's going to bring this high energy performance with the brass and the drums, right? For me, that's not, Malta's not standing up to that. So I have Spain winning. Albania, Australia. Albania, Kipchokas, beautiful song. Australia has that newness of being, relatively new in the competition. It's also a very fun song, very great, very fun staging. I think Australia be a bit more memorable. Again, for this one, I didn't necessarily have a preference. Like, between Malta and Spain, I prefer the Maltese song. But between Albania and Australia, I can't really say which one I prefer. But I just expect that Australia would win. Czech Republic and Switzerland. Czech Republic is a better song. Period. There's no question about that. But because, like I said, somehow Switzerland advanced, I feel like the upbeatness of the Swiss song might beat out Friend of a Friend. So, again, that's why I expect. I don't prefer that song, but that's what I expect. Switzerland will continue. Germany and Serbia. So, the German song Sisters, to my surprise, has been in my mind. Sisters, don't you try to hide it. And it's like, parts of it are really nice. I didn't necessarily care for the song too much on listen, and the song has had to take a long time to grow for me. But the Serbian song Kruna, essentially, after the first couple listens, it just, every time I listen to it more and more, I like it more and more. It's a better song. It's my preference. It's one that should, in that matchup, one would think that that's the one, right? I would think that that's the one that would advance, right? Russia and Italy. I like both of these songs. I like the Italian song more. I think it's a better song. I think it's a more upbeat song as compared to the more ballad song of Russia with the triumphant, I did like Russia's staging, though. I did like Russia's staging. But I think for me, I'd call it for Italy in this matchup. Denmark and France. because why am I picking France over Denmark? Um, I think Denmark is a cutesy song, yeah. But France also, um, France being the automatic um, advancer, uh, it's fresher now in my mind, right? We don't have to listen to it again and again and listen to Denmark again and again. France, I think, will have. I saw that rehearsal of Bilal's when he had that nice long wig and he had the dancers. I think they're along the same lines of like "Be Yourself" or like "Love Is Forever." Like, they're all the same. They're the same type of song. So I think the France song might have a bit more edginess to it. So that's that for me. Oh, San Marino as Azerbaijan. I love me that San Marino song, but I gotta be honest. That performance was lackluster. I think it was just him like at a sound station and like two other dancers. Like I thought it was gonna be mad, like 20 dancers on stage. Maybe that's how it'll be for the finals now. But the performance was not it for me and the semifinal, the first semifinal. Azerbaijan semifinal performance with the two robots lasering and the projections, it was great. He held that note. He sang fantastic. So for me, I think I think I prefer, if I was to pick a song to listen to, I prefer song from San Marino, but I think Azerbaijan in this matchup would win between Macedonia and Belarus. If you have watched in my videos, you know that Macedonia is my number one song based off my initial rankings, right? Power ballad of the century. But Belarus is a very pop song, a very danceable song. I don't know how much I trust that. Apparently, I don't trust that that Macedonia is beating out Belarus because first of all, a danceable song compared to a ballad, right? Macedonia had she was just singing in her nice green and black dress. Belarus has choreography. It's upbeat. You're moving, right? So for this, I'm giving it to Belarus. Yeah. Sweden and Estonia. Now, I said Estonia was unexpected. Estonia's one of the more generic songs. It's a generic song, right? And Sweden, it's not something that's super new to the song, but it's just a better song. So I would think, and I would hope that in that would-be matchup, Sweden would advance, right? Slovenia and Iceland, Sebi versus Patrick Mutsigra. Sebi is very nice. It's a very nice song. And it hurts to have to do this tableau because it's like, why are you going off? But that's a reality. There can only be one winner of Eurovision, right? Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But anyway, Sebi is a very nice song. But Iceland, I feel like, and I hope they just keep ramping up the staging for this final performance, right? Because from what I saw of the performance, the staging was better. The song, I mean, it's just more animated. The staging, like, I feel like it's better staging. Personally, yes, I do prefer the song. Same with Sweden, I do prefer the song, and it's just what I expect, right? Cyprus and the United Kingdom. And what universe? I'm sorry to anyone who's offended, but in what universe would the United Kingdom beat out Cyprus? I guess the same universe that you guys didn't send Armenia to the finals. So, but since this is my tableau, right? Since this is my winner, we're going ahead with Cyprus. Netherlands versus Norway. That's a really hard matchup. That's a really hard matchup, right? Because Norway, big production, but like I said, for some reason, the Netherlands arcade is just so popular, and I don't really get it, but it is, right? And then Israel versus Greece. I think, going off of it again, I don't necessarily have too much of a strong preference because I like both songs, but I don't think the Better Love performance was super fantastic. but I do think that the Israeli performance will be really good based off of the like rehearsal that they showed in the first semifinal, the preview of the rehearsal. I think it's going to be really good. So I think, that's mainly why I have Israel advancing, right? So then we continue on, again, keeping the tableau form. Now for this tableau, and this, is just half arbitrary, but because we had 7 matchups, I just kept the middle, Azerbaijan, as continuing, because we were going to have what ended up being 3. So we go from Spain, Australia, Switzerland, Serbia, Italy, France, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Sweden, Iceland, Cyprus, Netherlands, and Israel. Those are the 13 songs I have moving on in this tableau. We've got to whittle it down further. So let's match up Spain and Australia, right? The Australian song is very nice, but again, Spain has that high energy song that I think would have a better staging. So I gave it to Spain. It's not, between the two songs, it's not my preferred song necessarily. I don't think it's my preferred song. I don't think I'm really gonna be like, oh wow, I really miss listening. I really feel like listening to Lavenda. I don't think this ever gonna happen in my life. That I'm over Zero Gravity. I don't know. It might. I don't. But preference. So I have Spain advancing. Then we go Switzerland, Serbia. Who is going between Switzerland and Serbia, right? Like, at this point, I would think that the audience would say to themselves, oh, you know what? Switzerland is a fun song, but Serbia is a better song, right? One would think and hope. So, for that reason, I decided Serbia is advancing. Italy and France. So now we have the battle of the 2 automatic finalists, right? Automatic finalists. Italy and France. Like, I know that it's possible that France would win because y'all are ridiculous. But Italy's the better song. Italy's the more upbeat song. I feel like it's just generally more likely that Italy would win. Yeah. So like I said, I'm keeping Azerbaijan for tableau purposes. And then we'll go Belarus versus Sweden. Between Belarus and Sweden, both upbeat songs. I think Sweden's a better song. I think it has a better chance. It has more depth to the song in terms of voice. There's more substance to the song, I think. Like when I think of the Belarus song, I think, if you're gonna like it, ooh, what should I do? It's up to you, or am I just too... it's like, I feel like the Swedish song has more drama, more changes and inflection, a bunch of stuff. So the Swedish song is continuing on for me. Iceland versus Cyprus. Right? Oh. The heck? Wow. That should read Iceland. I'm not entirely sure why I have it Cyprus. Why did I put Cyprus? Let's see why I put up Cyprus. Well, I guess let me argue for Cyprus, because according to my notes, I meant to put Iceland. But why Cyprus would over Iceland? Let's think about it. I don't know that the upbeat that really just should read Iceland. I don't know. My whole tableau was shot. Why would Cyprus beat Replay? Oh my gosh. It's upbeat. Replay. How's it even go? That really should just win Iceland. My tableau is shot. So let's continue on as if that says Iceland, actually. Let's continue on as if that says Iceland. Netherlands versus Israel, because, again, the amount of support behind, the amount of love for arcade is baffling to me. I have the Netherlands moving on. Yeah. The semifinal 2 performance was really nice, really sweet with the lights and just him, and he looked all like happy after he performed. I appreciated that. So that's why I have Netherlands moving on. I think a lot of people like that song. So Then we, what would have been between Iceland and the Netherlands. So I think it's fine regardless. So anyway, let's start from the bottom now. So instead of Cyprus, it should read Iceland, um, and versus the Netherlands. Now, assuming that that Cyprus was not a mistake, on my part, I just don't remember. I'm just not remembering why I chose Cyprus over Iceland. What I have written here, is that again Cyprus being, replay, being just like Fuego. I think versus the Netherlands, which to me has a more original sounding original sound. It's more original in my mind than Cyprus, which is like Fuego from last year. So regardless, I think the Netherlands comes out on top for me. If it was between Iceland and the Netherlands, I still think that the innate support behind the Netherlands would be Iceland, even though Iceland has that, that in your face wow gimmick factor, right? So I still think the Netherlands is taking that matchup. So now, this time instead of having Azerbaijan continue on, out of respect for the fact that we had two automatic finalists beating out Italy versus France. Italy is going to say it here. So now we have Azerbaijan versus Sweden. Azerbaijan, nice song, great staging. In terms of song, in terms of upbeatness, Sweden has it beat. So Sweden advances. Spain versus Serbia. Again, hoping, right, that people would realize because the Spanish song is upbeat. That's the best part about it. It's a party starter, right? But it feels like there's either a harmony missing or something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not like a big substance song. It's a big party song. I think Serbia and for the song contest makes more sense to advance, right? So then in my final, we have Sweden, Italy, Serbia, and the Netherlands. So Sweden versus Italy, who's winning? Italy. And that's probably the hardest of these matchups because, because we go back to the previous page. Serbia was the first matchup, then Italy, then Sweden, then the Netherlands. So why am I not doing Serbia versus Italy versus Sweden versus the Netherlands? Serbia and the Netherlands have much slower pacing compared to Italy and Sweden. Italy and Sweden are both party songs. Serbia and the Netherlands are both like softer, emotional songs. So I think it makes sense to put those two up in this final stage of the tableau. But Sweden versus Italy, these are all really hard, right? But I think in 2019, Mahmoud has the advantage because I feel like with the Swedish song, it's kind of been done-ish. It's not a super crazy new song. It's a great song, but it's not super new. I feel like Italy is a fresher song, right? Serbia versus the Netherlands. Again, my personal preference is Serbia, but that's not what I expect. I expect the Netherlands to dominate. And again, a lot of this is based off of the support I see online, not only on YouTube, on Twitter, everywhere else, for Arcade. And I personally don't get it. It's a nice song, but I don't get why it's just so... Why people are just so moved by the song. I don't get it. So between Italy and the Netherlands, I prefer Soldi. If it came down to these two somehow, I prefer Soldi. But I expect that the Netherlands would win. Right? Because it's expectations versus preference. I expect the Netherlands would win. So, in my tableau, which we know is not the way Eurovision works, right? We're not going to pretend like block voting isn't a thing. Like there's not a big dramatic reveal for points, because that's the facts of Eurovision. But for my tableau, which is the way I was going to come up with a expected winner, the best way for me to come up with an expected winner, because a lot of songs that, I can't say that my initial rankings completely hold, because I like a lot of songs at different times of the day for different reasons. I like songs in different situations, so My initial rankings were that, and I stand by my initial rankings for being my initial rankings. But at this point, I can't say that the way I rank those songs is necessarily my preferred song is the best song. But I think it definitely helps guidance towards song for song, as opposed to song for song and performance, and political voting, and a bunch of other stuff, right? So, what are my thoughts looking to the finals? I said that I thought in my tableau, I had in my the tableau, the way I did it, I said that the Netherlands would come out top. I really won't be surprised if the Netherlands wins. I really would not be surprised, right? But there are a lot of songs I would be wildly shocked by if they won, right? But and there's because the whole thing is, if a song is to win, it should be one of the better songs of the semifinalists. It shouldn't come down to because of politics and trying to vote one song over another, that some other third song comes in and sneaks by, because so that hopefully we don't end up with a super mediocre song. Not I would love to be right. I have no problems being right if it comes out that some of the people I call as finalists are the ones who are finalists, right? In my tableau, even. I have no issue being right, but I would definitely love for some of those results that I called to be completely false. I would definitely love to see some shakeups and see more drama. I mean, not, again, it doesn't make any sense because there's no actual tableau, but in other words, I would like that there's more drama, that songs that I didn't expect to get as many high points to be as popular would be as popular. Because it's also fun to see, this is my preference, this is Europe's preference, as dictated by the results of Eurovision. So I hope it's not as I hope the whole 2019 cycle is not as easily predictable, because I already called 16 out of 20 of the songs, or 17 out of 20, depending on how you want to look at it. Fine. So I already knew I called the majority of the songs going. Out of 41 songs that competed, I called 80% of the semifinalists. So that's already a bit predictable, right? I hope that it's not the same case for the finals. So let's hope that it's not turning out the same, as predictable as my tableaus, right? And then the other thing is, again, don't let a super generic song win. A song with substance, a song with originality would be nice. Arcade is original. I give it that. If somehow the United Kingdom, which I don't expect at all, somehow the United Kingdom were to beat Arcade, wild. If somehow Denmark were to beat Arcade, wild. If somehow Switzerland were to beat Arcade, wild. Like, there are songs that are good in this, that are really good in this final. One of the finalists they're really good songs. There's definitely an objective ranking to be made about which songs are best and which songs are not, right? I think the thing comes up into when you go into the top songs, maybe for me subjectively, probably, if I were to look at my initial reactions and compare them to the finalists, I think a lot of the lower part of my initial rankings probably stay the same. But then the top, my higher ranked up, that's probably switched around a bit, maybe. So there's a lot of the generic songs that have better, that are better. There's a lot of songs that are better, so don't let a subpar, generic, unimpressive song win. I've already called out some of them, okay, right? There are other songs I didn't call far in this tableau that I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I think Iceland winning would fit it. I would fit 2019. I think it would, because it speaks to growing nationalistic movements around the world, right? About hate will win. So I could see Iceland winning. It would fit 2019. Maybe not the theme of Dare to Dream, but it would fit 2019, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Iceland won. I wouldn't be the most surprised if Iceland won, because it's a good song. It's maybe not the best, but it's a good song. So I want to see a good song win. I don't want to see. I think I'd be most hurt if Switzerland, and again, because I think it's just a personal attack, if Switzerland, United Kingdom won. I think if Estonia won, it'd really be like, what, really, why, where, and how, right? So there are a lot of songs that's just like, why would this song win? But that happens all the time. Songs win because of voting and non-objectivity, right? So the idea is maybe, let me try and come up with another winner. Because maybe if I, try a different way of trying to come up with another winner, maybe I'll have another winner. Maybe it's not a universal matchup thing, right? So, instead of flipping the halves and comparing them that way, we kept the halves. So we're comparing the song from the first half to the first song of the second half, the second song of the first half to the second song of the second half, right? So instead of doing it the reverse. I think the first way made more sense, but let's just try a different way, right? So Malta versus Israel. I don't necessarily think Malta would win, but to try and change up the results, to try and throw in some surprise, some shockers in there, I changed up the results to the one I don't necessarily expect. So I changed Malta versus Italy. I think Italy would win, but for this tableau, because we're actually trying to find a different winner, I said let's change up this. Let's have Malta win, because it's not something that's unprecedented, because the song from Malta is an upbeat song. The song from Israel is a nice ballad. It's a nice little ballad that mostly is carried on the singer's vocals. So I think the song from Malta has credibility, even in this claim that it would beat Israel. Fine. Albania versus Norway. I didn't have this matchup before, but I think Norway, being such a big party song, would more likely beat Albania. I don't necessarily have a preference between the two songs, but that's my expectation. Czech Republic versus United Kingdom. If you were to say that the United Kingdom will somehow beat Czech Republic, have you heard the songs? Have you heard the songs? Germany versus Iceland. Again, Iceland I think would win. Iceland is also my preference. Russia versus Estonia. Again, I think this. I guess Estonia could win in this matchup. But I think Russia would win, and I think, generally speaking, I probably listen to the Russian song more, so it's probably my preference for that reason. Denmark versus Belarus. Denmark, QT, insipid, peace-loving song, great. But Belarus is a fun, upbeat song, so I have Belarus advancing. Because I had Azerbaijan advancing in my first tableau, now we're having San Marino advance in my second tableau. Just because. Macedonia versus France. Both ballads. Again, I think I want to say I had France versus is it Denmark or no? I forget who I had France at some point. That I said that they were both. Oh, I think I had France versus Denmark at some point in my first tableau, and they're both songs about like loving yourself and encouragement. And this is the same thing for Macedonia and France. France has the youthful appeal of accept yourself, and I'm accepting myself, and this is my story. But Macedonia just brings you from the gut. I'd like to also say that I feel like in the second semifinal, maybe Tamara was maybe like her voice. It sounds like she had lost her voice, but she sang through it beautifully. If that's the case, so kudos for her. So then Sweden versus Italy. Again, I think I had this matchup. I did have this matchup in the first tableau, but Italy won it. So for this tableau, let's say Sweden wins. Let's say Sweden wins. Slovenia versus Serbia. Sebi, very nice song. Kruna, love it. I feel like Kruna might have a better, staging, and might be more epic of a song, in the finals and just generally. I I think probably the Slovenian song Serbia is probably more popular than the Serbian song. But, and maybe I should have changed it for this tableau, but I didn't. Cyprus versus Switzerland, again, I really wouldn't be surprised because the fact that it's even in the finals is a shock and surprise. But I really wouldn't be surprised if Switzerland won. But for my tableau purposes, who I prefer is Cyprus. Cause I'm ready. No, that's Fuego. Oh my gosh, how the heck was that? I can't remember the lyrics now. Anyway, Netherlands and Australia. Again, I don't know how many times I say it, but the support for arcade, the song itself doesn't connect with me so much, but I definitely see why it connects with so many people, and I get it, that why it's popular. So I think between the two, I would expect the Netherlands to win. I don't necessarily have a favorite in this matchup. And then Greece versus Spain, again, party central. Spain's got to take it away. No big preference, just party central. Let's move on. So we had Malta, Norway, Czech Republic, Iceland, Russia, Belarus, San Marino, Macedonia, Sweden, Serbia, Cyprus, Netherlands, and Spain. So between Malta and Norway. These are both big, like, let's dance song. Come on, Chameleon! Versus, I just think that one would get more riled up for Norway. No super, I can't really say I lean towards one so much in terms of preference. I think I like listening to them at both different times for different reasons, but I think Norway, I'd call it for Norway. Czech Republic and Iceland. Czech Republic is, it was one of my top songs ranked initially, but I think Iceland has more of the it factor, more X factor. So Iceland, I'm calling it for. Russia versus Belarus. Again, Russia versus Belarus. Belarus is a very upbeat song, so I'd call it for Russia. I call it, Belarus is a very upbeat song, so I call it for Belarus. Belarus. Again, San Marino, we're just advancing because we're in the middle of the pack. Makes it easier. Sweden versus Macedonia. Preference-wise, I think Macedonia is the better song, right? Better song in terms of... I just think it's a better song. And how it speaks to me, like, it grabs me so quickly, right? But I think Sweden, being a really good song vocally as well, and upbeat, would win. Serbia versus Cyprus. There was accusation of plagiarization against Romania who didn't advance. Fine. Cyprus, everyone knows it's Fuego. Norway, Sarah Alto's Monsters, right? Sarah Alto's, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. So I think at this point, Cyprus's running on Fuego vibes would end, and Serbia would just come out. It should in this tableau of mine. The Netherlands versus Spain, not because that's what I expect, but because we're trying not to get the same winner again, right? I don't want to have the Netherlands versus Sweden, so we change it up. So let's say Spain beats out the Netherlands. Let's say, right? So then we have Norway versus Iceland. Hatching Secret is very fun, but people like to be moved. Like people like to get up and dance. So Norway's winning it for me in this one. Belarus versus San Marino. Upbeat songs. Both upbeat songs, but I think San Marino edges it out. Serbia versus Sweden. Both very good songs. But upbeat. Upbeat wins out, let's say. And then, Spain is the one we kept on advancing. So, Norway versus San Marino. Norway takes it in my tableau. Sweden versus Spain. Sweden takes it in my tableau because I don't think there's any way that Spain will beat out... Well, I can't say that. But I would be upset if somehow... Because Sweden's just a better song, period, right? I mean, Spain's a very party-pumping song, but there's something lacking to the song in my mind. I feel like it's mostly just, like, brass and, like, this gritty voice, this gritty, yelly voice. I don't necessarily... Sweden is sweet and melodic, and upbeat, and danceable. I think they're danceable in different ways, right? So anyway, My tableau, my advancers. Um, um, and so then it becomes a battle of the Nordic states, and I think Norway edges out Sweden. Um, just because it's more of a everyone in the crowd is dancing song, upbeat and having a great time. Um, Wild that I have Sarah Alto's Spirit in the Sky winning, but and this the point is I could have made this tableau anyway, um, and you can make a tableau anyway to have whatever winner you want. And it's not that I picked Norway in advance, but you really could. It's just how you justify the matchups. It's depending on the matchup in the tableau, you could justify it different ways. But again, none of that matters because Eurovision is not a tableau format. It doesn't matter. That's just how I decided. So, if you like any of my videos, feel free to like and comment. I don't really care about the likes. I most enjoy the comments, actually. I most enjoy having conversations with people in comments and learning things about the songs, about respective countries, about respective artists. That's what I like the most. If you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. I know because I put it here in bold letters with an exclamation mark, you might feel a little pressure, but that's not the case. But, we started this, I think, the first video I reacted to was in February, and now it's May, end of May, we're moving towards. So it's not like, now we have a whole other year, a little less. We have a bunch of months until the next, Eurovision 2020, right? But no, not really, because the next Eurovision contest is Eurovision Choir. I didn't even realize Eurovision Choir was a thing. I appreciate, I knew before she said it in semifinal 2, but I appreciate that, it's just a reminder. I definitely would like to see acapella. There's no real big, crazy acapella style that I associate, unless it's more of a traditional type of style of singing. What is Eurovision Choir? What is that going to be about? I'm probably going to be looking at that. The ABU Song Contest, which seems to be like an Asian counterpart, that's going to be premiering, I guess, this year. That's in October. Junior Eurovision is a thing. I don't really necessarily too much go crazy for little kids singing, or young teenagers or whatever, or young children singing. But why not? Songs are songs. Music is music. It might be really good. Eurovision Asia, I'm super hyped about. I'm super hyped about Eurovision Asia because I really want to see South Korea send a K-pop band. I really want to see who Kazakhstan is going to send. Australia competing in both Eurovision and Eurovision Asia. Okay, how's that going to work? I want to see it. India, I think it was on my sister. I'm like, I hope they send some Bollywood ass song and have this ridiculous production value on stage. I'm excited. Turk Vision may or may not be happening, last I heard. And then, I feel like there's music festivals that generally happen throughout the year, every year. And, generally speaking, I just react to a lot of music. So if you like anything that I react to, again, feel free to like and subscribe. But I definitely most like comments. I definitely like having conversations with people via comments because I learn the most. And always feel free to leave a suggestion. I don't know what's wrong with my tongue today. Feel free to leave a suggestion of a song I should listen to, because I have a lot of music added recently from new songs, right? Nina, a couple songs, Georgia, a couple songs, Marath as one of the better suggestions I've gotten. Angra, one of the songs better suggestions I've gotten. I definitely love adding new music. So definitely feel free to leave a suggestion, and comment on videos. Yeah. Conversations for having. So anyway, this is probably going to be super long. I didn't think I meant for it to be this long. Ideally, I would have had this full screen. If you saw that I left this white space for the video, so you could see more of my face this time. But I have no general stakes in this contest besides my own interests. I think it's generally the case for everybody. I know I regardless of this regardless of the end results, and regardless of who ended up advancing to the finals, it's great every year because we get new music. Music that you can keep forever, or as long as you live. Yes. There's a lot of songs that I wasn't super crazy about that I'm singing on the regular. Sisters being one of them. I wasn't negative about it per se, but I wasn't like super amped about that song. And then all of a sudden, randomly, I find myself singing it. I see it in your eyes. Da 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 da. Don't you try to hide it. No, not a city light. A bunch of different ways to sing that song. I heard Crown. I heard Crown. Oh my gosh. Are you serious right now? Remind me tomorrow. What are you doing? I heard The Crown, the English version of Kruna. And I didn't necessarily appreciate the English lyrics. Right? I was like, why did you try to put English lyrics? But then the next time I heard the song playing, I caught myself singing the English lyrics. Talking about let the world see what we have. So there's a bunch of songs that I didn't like, but I found myself singing. That's the best thing about Eurovision, that you find a bunch of good songs. I think generally there's not, especially looking at the finalists, I feel like the field of finalists is generally very upbeat songs. And I will still be forever mad about Switzerland advancing. So anyway, thanks for watching.